In August 2026, a world tour collapsed 4 days before its opening night. 10 cities, tickets already sold, and the artist found out, according to her agency, by being told. This is a timeline video. Every date and figure here comes from public statements and reporting, and where something has not been confirmed, this video says so. The tour was called the Lee Hi and 808HI Recordings World Tour 2026. Lee Hi is a Korean singer who debuted at 15 after finishing second on a national audition show, and who has spent the decades since building a reputation as one of the country's most distinctive vocalists. The tour was routed across Asia and the Pacific. It was due to open in Singapore on August 8th, then continue to Jakarta, Manila, Hong Kong, Bangkok, and Taiwan, before finishing in Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, and Auckland. For a lot of those cities, this was the first time she was scheduled to perform there. The Manila date had been announced in May. Australian and New Zealand dates had been announced separately for August and September. On August 4th, 4 days before the Singapore show, every date was canceled. The cancellation did not come from Lee Hi, and it did not come from her agency. According to her agency's statement, the tour organizer, a company called Kino White Touring Korea, notified them unilaterally that the concerts were canceled and that ticket refunds would be issued. Unilaterally is the word the agency used, and it is worth sitting with. In the agency's account, this was not a negotiation that failed. It was a decision they were informed of. The agency also described what it says happened before that point. It stated that it had repeatedly extended payment deadlines and had asked the organizer to fulfill its contractual obligations so that the concerts could go ahead. That single sentence carries most of the story. Extending a payment deadline more than once means money that was expected did not arrive, and the artist's side kept the door open anyway. Here is the part that is easy to miss if you have never looked at how touring works. The artist usually does not own the tour. A promoter or organizer does. They book the venues, they sell the tickets, they carry the costs, and they pay the artist under contract. So when an organizer cannot meet its obligations, the artist is not simply the person on stage. They are a creditor, waiting on a company that owes them money, with their name on the poster. That is why the announcement came from the organizer rather than the artist, and why refunds are being handled by ticket vendors rather than by Lee Hi's agency. The people who sold the tickets are the people holding the money. Lee Hi's agency has said it plans to pursue legal action. That is an announcement of intent. No case has been decided, and nothing in this video should be read as a finding against anyone. As of this recording, the organizer has not released a public statement. That matters because there is a version of these events from the artist's side and no published version from the other side. One account is not the same as the full picture. For fans, the practical situation is the least satisfying part. Refunds are being directed through the individual ticket vendors in each country, which means the process is different in Singapore than it is in Manila or Bangkok or Auckland. And a refund only covers the ticket. It does not cover a flight booked to another country, a hotel, or time taken off work. For international tour dates, the ticket is frequently the smallest line in what a fan actually spent. Some context on who this affects. Lee Hi debuted in 2012 as a teenager after finishing second on the audition show K-Pop Star, and her debut single became one of the defining Korean songs of that year. She spent most of the following decade at YG Entertainment before leaving, and has since worked as an established solo artist rather than an idol group member. That distinction matters here. A soloist touring internationally does not have a group's infrastructure or a major agency's tour division absorbing the risk. The margins are thinner, and the exposure to a single organizer failing is greater. There is also a detail worth flagging carefully. The Australian and New Zealand dates were announced through Frontier Touring, an established promoter in that region. Whether those dates sat under the same contract as the Asian leg has not been publicly clarified, and this video is not going to guess. It is a fair question, though, because it changes who owes what to whom. A tour routed across 10 cities can involve several promoters, each with a separate agreement, and a collapse in one part does not automatically mean a collapse in another. If you are holding a ticket, the practical advice from the announcements is straightforward. Contact the vendor you bought from, not the artist and not the agency. Card chargebacks and national consumer protection rules may also apply, and those differ by country. And it is worth being clear about who is not at fault here. Nothing in any public statement suggests Lee Hai or her agency chose to cancel. In the account that exists, they were the party trying to keep the shows alive. This is also not only a Korean story. 6 of the 10 canceled dates were in Southeast Asia and East Asia outside Korea, and 4 were in Australia and New Zealand. The people most affected are spread across 10 cities and at least 9 separate consumer protection systems. What makes this case unusual is not that a tour was canceled. Tours are canceled. It is the timing and the sequence described by the agency. Repeated extensions, a request to honor a contract, and then a unilateral cancellation 4 days out. There are 3 things worth watching from here. First, whether Kino White Touring Korea responds publicly, and what its account of the same events looks like. Second, whether the announced legal action is actually filed, and where. A tour spanning 10 cities across multiple countries raises the question of which jurisdiction any dispute belongs in. And third, whether the dates are rescheduled with a different organizer or whether this tour is simply gone. As of now, neither has been announced. The short version, an organizer canceled a 10-city tour 4 days before opening night. The artist's agency says it had already extended payment deadlines more than once. Refunds are being handled by vendors. Legal action has been announced but not filed, and the organizer has not yet given its side. Sources are linked in the description. Where this video says an account came from Lee Hai's agency, that is because it did, and the other side of it has not been published yet.